Hi YouTube. We were back with more tragic comedies. This one was oh man, this was the sickest shit in the world. It was so sick. I felt fine during the game. It's like you don't sometimes you feel sick and you lose a game because you feel sick. That wasn't like this. This game was so sick that it made me want to throw up. I felt fine during the game. But after the game, I genuinely felt like I was going to vomit because it was so disgusting. And it was the same exact thing, but even worse. Same exact thing. Alright? I'm going to lose like 50 rating points for this, by the way. Whatever. Why are you wearing the same shirt as the last video? I don't know, man. Alright, so I pushed the E pawn, and then he pushed the C pawn, and then I moved my knight, and then he went knight C6. I was like, what's going on? I forgot. And then I thought for a long time, I was like, maybe I'll just do this, honestly. Because I don't remember anything, any like Kalashnikov stuff. I only did like a tiny bit of prep for that. And I was like, no, I'll do this. I'll learn. So we got into this, and he played E5. And then, I was thinking back to this game, because it was similar, but I was like, but it doesn't get to the same position. I was like, wait, how do I make this happen? And then I was like, trying to go backwards in my head, here, and I was like, okay, we're down a tempo, these moves aren't in yet. So what do I do here? I didn't really know. And I had to think, for a little while. Again, my time management's terrible. So I was thinking about c4 and knight c3. Apparently both are good moves. I don't know what's in my book. I have no idea. I think Daniel plays knight c3. I feel like I've seen him get that position a lot. But the thing is, okay, I played knight c3, good move. But the thing is that now I get move ordered. And now we're in basically in a Sveshnikov where, like, I didn't know any of this. I was just playing chess at this point. I played bishop g5, and this is, like, well known. But not for me. This isn't what I do. This is, like, now I'm just move ordered into a line I don't know at all. But I figured it was fine. Like, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of a chess position, I pin the knight. I have these ideas. What else do I need to know? Nothing really. So I played bishop g5, and he went bishop e7, which I feel like is already a mistake. Like, it just felt like a bad move to me. Because now I can just take, and I can play knight c4, and, like, okay, like, you suck? I don't know. I'm trying not to be mean. Listen, the very nice guy I played, I'm just so mad about the quality of this chess game. So, any insult I throw at my opponent, it's really directed at me, okay? So, because I'm the asshole in the situation. So yeah, I just play knight c4. I feel like I'm already like much better almost because he has no good way to defend the d pawn except for going back, And this is a god awful position for black. I would be extremely happy here, and I guess he agreed because he just castled. Okay, he just castled. He's just like, all right, take the pawn. It's not worth making a retreating move, which honestly I respect. But at the same time, he's just, yeah. So I had to think a little bit here because I can take the pawn in two different ways. I thought for 3 minutes. And I thought taking with the queen made the most sense because if he just trades the queens, I'm very happy here. I don't know, I have no problems. If he has to move his bishop, then I don't know. I don't think I should take here right away, but like if bishop e6, maybe knight d5 even, and I just make a pass pawn, or I take his bishops back if I don't know what he does here. I don't know. So he decided that he didn't want to trade the queens with me. He played bishop e6, which I think is the best move. Because otherwise you're like, okay, I guess I'll just be worse. So this way he's trying to get development, like a lead in development for the pawn. But it's just not working because now I castle queenside, and I'm just like, I don't know. It's nothing to say. Like, I have 1,000 ideas that are all good. So, and again, if he does this, like, I don't know. this bishop sucks. My knights are really good. He can try and put his knight on d4, but eventually I'll just play c3, and it will be out of there. So, okay, so instead, he plays this move, knight d4, which is not good. I saw this coming. He like has this fake idea, like he's disrupting the connection between my queen and my rook. So he it feels like he's threatening bishop takes c4, even though he's not, because even if he takes on c4, I just take on d8 and then I take on c4. So it's not even a real threat. And I want to know how much time I spent here. Because I was spending a lot of time in weird positions in this game, I noticed. I spent 4 minutes. I think that's okay. So I played knight d5. That's the second best move. I showed this game to Josh, and he kind of immediately found the best computer line. So that was funny. So what I should do here is I should take on d8, play h4, because, okay, and the idea is, I saw this idea that, like, I want to put my knight on e3 and just control all these squares, but that's annoying because there's bishop g5. So what we do is we don't do that. We take, and we play h4, and we're preparing knight e3. And then, I mean, white is just extremely comfortable here. Just bishop is bad, and I'm gonna put a knight in one of his holes here, so probably this one. And then kick this knight out. It's just good. And I don't know, I don't know. Here, then I play bishop e2, like I could even do this stuff. Like, I don't know. All of my pieces are well placed. So white would be much better there. But that was his first instinct. I was like, man. h4 didn't occur to me. I did see that I wanted to play knight e3, but I couldn't. But I didn't think one step ahead. And it just, like, continued the thought. I think I could have found it, but it didn't. I was looking at knight d5 because, okay, in my head, you know, I'm stopping any of these ideas. Even though they don't work, I'm still stopping them. And I want to play c3 regardless, so I think it makes sense to just put my knight on d5. I'm still much better here, by the way. So I just put my knight on d5, c3 is prepared now, and he doesn't have a good option. Again, if he just does this, his knights are good. I don't know. Not much else to say. So here he just, like, continues with his idea that doesn't work. However, he is making a threat here. The threat here is b5, because this is annoying. So I was aware of this, right? And knowing that, it would make sense that c3 is the only move that I have that makes sense, right? And that was my first instinct. Yet, I still thought for 13 minutes here, and I couldn't tell you why. I was just so fascinated by the position, because, like, you know, all the pieces are close together, and there's so much happening, and there's so much potential for, like, tactics, and I was, you know, because if my knight moves, you know, I'm not actually threatening this, and I was just... So I thought for 13 minutes, and I played the first move that popped into my head anyway. I don't know, just dumb. So I play c3, stopping this stuff. He plays b5. Okay, yeah, and then this is forced. Obviously, I can't move my knight. I mean, to be fair, when I played c3, I calculated this line to the end, but I didn't need to because c3 was my only move, I guess. I don't know. I could have thought about it later, I guess. I don't know. Okay, so this is forced because, you know, if I move my knight, my queen hangs. And then I go knight b6, and now the problem here is that in order to not hang a piece, he has to keep his rook on this file. But if he keeps his rook on this file in a way that it's not hanging, it takes away a square for his knight. And there's a big problem with this. Okay, knight is trapped now. I can't take it, but now I just go king b1, and now he has to do this shit in order to make a square for his knight. But this endgame is just winning for me. Okay, so I think this is the hardest I've ever been gaslit in a chess game. Let's just look at the position. Okay. I'm up a full pawn. I could easily make a pass pawn over here. I have a bishop, he has a knight. My pawn structure is also more solid, and his knight has no good outpost. Yet, this was extremely hard to find a win. And it seems like it shouldn't, but you will understand the pain that I felt during this game. And the worst part is I, converted to a win, but I used all my time doing it, and then I blundered because I had 7 seconds left. And I still wasn't losing after I blundered. So king f8, rook d1. I always have the idea of playing a4. Right now it's not so good because, I don't know, it'd be better if his rook weren't there, or if my rook were more active and could take advantage of this. So, I just put my rook in the center. Or wait, no I didn't. What did I do? Oh, I played g3 here. I thought g3 was a good move because I'd like to play bishop g4. I would love to do that. But if I do, he just goes knight e6. It's like, what am I doing now? I don't really know. And I thought my bishop was pretty well developed on e2 as it is, because I want to keep my options open whether I want to put my bishop on one of these squares, or if I need to keep it here in order to play a4, right? And g3 is gonna be necessary either way, because I don't want to allow his knight to be here, because then that would be not good. So then he goes knight b7, which was kind of a shock to me. I guess it's fine. And again, now my opponent just moves his knight back and forth for like 10 moves while I have to figure all this shit out, and I'm getting exhausted, right? So I'm on move 23, and I'm under 20 minutes. I'm really good with my time. So I put my rook in the center, and then he plays this terrible move, knight c5, just terrible. There's no point to it. So now that the knight is on c5, the rook is not flexible anymore. It can't ever challenge me on this file, because if it moves, then I take his knight. So I was really happy here, but at the same time, I was a little confused. And I was kind of afraid of making pawn pushes, because, I tend to make mistakes with pushing pawns, because it's very committal. So I played f3, which I think is good, and the only thing that's annoying is, how do I get my rook in? How do I break up this little fake fortress that he has, right? Because I can't play f4 anymore because of this, and basically what I need to do is I need to figure out the right order to make a break on the queen side, which is harder than it looks. So he played king e6, and I just go bishop f1. I don't know, just kind of a good move. And he goes h6, and I played this move kind of fast. It's kind of a waste. I don't know why I did it, 'cause again, my bishop is already developed on this diagonal, and if it needs to come here, fine, I'll do that, but it is kind of nonsense to do that, because the king's not doing anything here. I don't really know. And then I thought for 6 minutes until I had 10 minutes left, because I was like, oh, why did I do that? That was kind of dumb. So what I'd like to do, I'd like to play b4, but here it's not working because of knight a4, and then I can't defend that. The move before, however, b4 is working because I have c4, and this is what I wanted to do, but I was also like kind of confused. I wanted to play b4 at several different times. I ended up playing king c2, and I'm kind of, because yeah, okay. The thing is, if I ever try to play b3 c4, he plays b4. And now my bishop is in jail, like it can't move because all my pawns are on light squares. This was another problem I was facing, where it's like, well, what the fuck do I do? Maybe I play b3, king b2, c4, and then if b4, then there's a3, but then he goes here, and it's like, what is happening there? Then I try and do this, maybe, and I was like, I don't know, this is taking so long, and it's so confusing. So, he does nothing, and I play king d2, and he goes here, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm just dumb, I have to go back now. But then he puts his knight on b6, so I play rook d3, and he just goes back. So now I'm seeing the idea. Now I'm seeing ways to break through. I put my bishop back on f1, because that's where it goes. I couldn't decide whether b3 or bishop f1 first is better. I think it's exactly the same result. Don't think it matters. So, because he's going to be doing this regardless if I play b3 or not. So, I go rook e3. Now I go b3. And the way I did it, I gained an extra tempo because he's just moving his knight back and forth. And then here is where I wanted to play b4. But I couldn't figure it out. Because b4, and this is my idea, right? But I have under 5 minutes now. And I was looking at this, and I was like, okay, my intuition is telling me to do this, but I also like don't know because it feels like a big commitment. Because I'm going rook a3, so it's just good. But for some reason, that didn't occur to me when I was calculating. So, and I was just like panicking, and I looked over. I saw I have 4 minutes left, and I decided to play f4. And that move is basically like, I want to think on your time about my pawn push. Like, I still want to play it, but I'm not sure. It's very committal, but it's not a mistake, I don't think. Oh wait, not in this position. b3, knight c5. That didn't happen. Did I promote the wrong line? Okay, well, it transposes. It's fine. That little inclusion was not in the actual game, but doesn't matter. Okay, so this happened. And still I should play b4, but I couldn't figure it out. And I was just kind of scared. Because it looks pretty weakening, right? Because if I don't have c4, if I just play something like, if I just go here, then he goes knight b6. And then I can't, like, again, how do I make progress? Like, maybe I do this. I don't know. But it's really annoying, this knight b6 idea. But I don't know, I was scared, I couldn't figure anything out. And then I realized that there's nothing wrong with a3. I couldn't poke any holes in a3. And I'm just slowly preparing c4 with that move. That's all I'm doing. And it's good enough to win. So rook d7, I just play c4, I finally broke through, I got my bishop out, I couldn't be happier. Rook d4, and I just played bishop d5, and now it seems like a rook trade is going to be inevitable, and the endgame should be easily winning for me. Okay, so let's do a time check. How much time did I have? 2 minutes here. I stopped keeping score at some point. So he played a5, king c3, king d6, b4. And now I only have one winning move, and it's quite obvious now that I look at it. But I thought my move won too. I'm +4 here. You know, I converted this very well. But white to play and win. It is one of those two. I played one of those moves, and one of those moves is good. Yeah, so bishop c4 is the only winning move, and it's very obviously a good move. Very obviously. But in my head, you know, I was like, I had no time. I was like shaking. It was the last game. There were like 10 people crowding around watching, as you do. And I was like, well, I just like to get my pawn going as fast as I can. So I was like, okay, play b5. He goes knight b8. That's terrible, because then I'm just trading the rooks. And if knight c7, I go bishop c6. And then I'm, you know, in my head, I was going here and trading rooks. But sometimes what happens when you're looking at things on the board instead of in your head, for the first half of this game, I was having a lot of trouble calculating when looking at the board, so I had to actually close my eyes and put my hands over my face, and then figure out what I wanted to play, and then I would open them and make a move, and that was working better for me. But here in time pressure, that's harder to do. And in my head, in this position, I was like, okay, play bishop c6, this is happening, and his king doesn't have a square to go to, and I'm just doing that. And then he went here, which I didn't realize was possible, because I guess in my head that square was defended, but I moved the pawn. So now I'm just like feel like crying. King c5 is where I stopped keeping score, and I believe I thought until I had like 7 seconds left here, and I was very, very, very depressed about this, because he's just winning my pawn now. So now I have to play chess. He takes my guy, and then I for some reason I didn't do this, which was my initial intention. Like, I could do this. It's like, I'm not winning, but I could win this. But I don't know, I thought this was also tricky. But he goes here, and it doesn't matter that I take this pawn. And the way that I reconstructed this game was terrible. It's not correct. It was such a goddamn mess. I have no idea how we got to the final position. And the last, like, 10 moves I put in are basically I was just trying to get to the final position. So ignore any, like, weird things that are happening. I think maybe this, like, happened or something. I don't remember. But we got to a position like this. where I somehow hung this pawn. I don't know how I possibly did that, but I guess I did. And the pawn was coming, right? And we got to... just ignore it, because this is winning for black right now, and it wasn't in the game. I had to do a bunch of triangulation to figure everything out, to get to the right position. And it ended up being... It was like... Where was the knight? I think yeah. This is just me doing triangulation to make it the right person's move, and I was struggling to figure it out. No, that wasn't it either. My bishop was on h7. You know what? Let me just set up the board. That's what we're gonna do. So it was like... Well, no, this is... Actually, it's more important to note that I offered him a draw when I realized I was not winning anymore. Like around... Like a few moves ago, I offered him a draw. And he had no winning chances. And he said no. He said no to me. And then a few moves later, when I ended up being able to play g5, he offered me a draw. And I had 3 seconds, and I looked him dead in the eye, and I said no. Because you only get one draw offered with me. You get one chance, and if you say no, then you get to win. Apparently. But no, I mean, you either take my draw, or I'm gonna... No, I'm not... No, we're not doing that. So, where was the knight, though, is the important question. Let's say it was there. Yeah, something like this. I believe it was something like this. And it is not black's turn, though. Fuck. Let's just, yeah, it ended up being like this. Okay. And then, like, something like this happened. No, but my king was not there. Hold on. It was very sad. I mean, something like this happened. Like that. And then I queened. And this position is a draw. That is, don't worry about that. That is Najdorf prep. You'll never guess who made that study. But, yeah, so this position is a draw. I lost this. I was white and I lost. Because I flagged. I'm not even, like, super sure about the final position. I'm, like, confused about where the bishop was and everything. No, this is the most fucked up thing in the world. This is a tragic comedy. So, I can't hang on to this pawn, I need the pawn to win. He just keeps going back and forth like this. But I tried. I think it was like this. Oh, yeah. So it was like this, and since I'm moving instantly, I have 3 seconds left. I have to do this. Otherwise he does this, you know, to stop that. But since I was moving instantly, I went here. And now I just lose. And I was like in shock, and I just sat there until I flagged. And I was just like, what the fuck happened? What the fuck just happened? And, yeah. But I was fighting till the end, and I don't regret, like, because to me, a draw would have been equally bad, an equally terrible result to losing this game, in my opinion, because it's the same thing. Because it's not a win when it was a win. And so, and the whole thing where he was losing the entire game, and I offered him a draw when it was equal, and he said no, when he had like 9 minutes and I had 7 seconds. I think that like something in me like snapped. So when he offered me a draw, I was like, fucking no. I felt like such a Giga Chad though, cause like I said no, and I grabbed the extra queen and I put it down, you know, and everyone was watching. Cause listen, like I couldn't figure it out. I didn't know if it was a draw or not, but he didn't deserve to win that game, so, or draw that game. So no, no, we're not. No draws. I would really truly rather lose than accept a draw, because it's like such a disgusting crime against chess that black won this game. And I was just like sitting there in shock after the game. I was like, what the fuck happened? Still in shock. I don't know. Yeah, I was trying to act like a Giga Chad. Well, it's a draw if I don't play this. If I go here, it's a draw. This is a losing move. So, yeah, I'm not sure about the middle part. No, I'm not winning. Because I can never take this pawn because he just goes back and forth. This is just a draw. How am I winning with bishop h5? Yeah, it is. It's really, really disgusting that like somehow there's no way to win. But this made me physically ill because my heart rate must have been going like 150 at least. Um, so yeah, that was my game. Very impressive by my opponent. I don't know. Yeah, okay, I lose 50 rating points. Whatever, I deserve it. Cause I feel like if I lose a game, if I lose that game, then I'm probably not my rating. Like I really do deserve to lose 50 points for that. Chess. Yeah. So anyway, I like when I got home, I couldn't face the reality of I didn't want to be alone, so I went on a walk with the dog and the people. Exercise is good for dog depression, and I'm good at handling. I'm good at managing my emotions apparently. Because a few years ago, I would have went in the bathroom and punched myself in the face a few times, like really really hard. But I'm over that now. Now I just like spend some time with a dog, and yeah, I don't know. There's no point in beating myself up literally about this. Very effective. Yeah, it wasn't. It didn't work for me. But anyway, I just need to get better. Is the takeaway from that? Is that I am not very good. Um, and I'm gonna go ahead and withdraw from that tournament. I didn't want to withdraw last week, so it's like I don't want to be one of those people that loses a game and withdraws like a bitch, because we have too many of those people as it is in Colorado. Um, but like if I play like next week, I'll just play like another 1700, and I'm just like I don't know. It's I'm trying not to be a poor sport about it, but at the same time, I have no desire to continue playing in this tournament. Um, so I'm gonna just try and get better, and take a break from playing and actually work on my calculation because I just shouldn't be spending this much time on these moves because they weren't that hard to find, and I just need to work on my calculation and my stamina because I either have to take a long time and energy to calculate, and I can do it well, but then I'm exhausted, and I can't do it in that time control. So if I'm gonna play in that time control, I need to get better at calculation, basically. Anyway, bye YouTube. It's the first outro I've ever done.